What's going on, YouTube? What you doing? Get some money? I hope you're getting some money. Yeah. I hope you get some money. You better be getting some money. If you didn't know, it's Block Life Vlogs, aka the Trucking Block, back with another video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up and notification bell. Does not cost you a thing. Comment down below. Interact with me. I interact back. If you don't like my video, hit the dislike. YouTube analytics, right? So let's get into this. It's been about 6 days since I posted. You know, life catches up to you. There's a lot going on for me right now personally. I'm in the process of doing a lot of things. One of them, trying to get this company started that I've already named and it's been recognized by the state of Missouri, which is the Trucking Block LLC. 2, moving to a different house. 3, continue to do my job, be a husband and father, all wrapped up in one. So excuse me if I haven't posted in about 6 days. I will be posting a video later on tonight, covering a couple news stories that came across this week that I thought was wild. From a driver killing, I guess, the owner of the company he was working for, to the $40 to $50, I said $40 to $50, excuse me, y'all, 40 to 50 car crash pileup that happened yesterday. But anyway, right now, I'm basically in my hometown. I am in Kansas City, Kansas, right next to Kansas City, Missouri, trying to get unloaded at a place called Pro. I've been sitting here already about half an hour, waiting on the door, and talking to the other drivers when I went into the shipping receiving office. I'm going to be sitting here for quite some time, which I don't like doing. But regardless, I got to make my money. I also got my 13-year-old son with me. He's in the sleeper right now playing PlayStation, which he's been dying to do for a long time now. You know how these kids are nowadays. I wasn't that addicted to video games coming up. These new kids, they have to have some kind of electronic device to be entertained. But anyway, a lot hasn't changed as far as what I'm doing. I'm still out here trucking, as you can see. I'm still in Blue Magic, Big Blue, trying to get this money. If you guys have any suggestions on, like, you know, what content you want me to go over, I'll be happy to go over it. I mean, I got plenty of experience to go over many of topics. Just let me know what you want to cover. As far as the car content, I have yet to designate time, set aside time to review my vehicle. I have yet to review my vehicle because there's details to it. It's not just a plain old RT. This car has been outfitted with a lot of stuff that comes in scat packs. So I kind of want to, you know, showcase that. Plus, I love my car. It's a nice car. But anyway, something I'm going to touch on right now. That is parking. Parking. I know, driver, it's been hard. It's been hard out here past couple of years to find decent parking because the amount of drivers versus the amount of truck stops is overwhelming. Nowadays, throughout the night, because I like to do night driving, I'll see trucks lined up on ramps and exit ramps right outside the gate of the truck stop. You'll see guys get kicked out of spots. It's a lot of drivers asking shippers and receivers, can they just spend the night just to have somewhere to park, get their rest to move on with the load that they're getting or, you know, shipping. So, or you know what I mean, shipping or receiving. So it's been a struggle, but that is no excuse for being an idiot. All right. What do you mean by that, Ron? What are you talking about? Well, I mean parking in people's spots that they have paid for. Yeah. This has been motivated by a couple friends I've talked to that's out here as over-the-road drivers for different companies. Because they have expressed to me how they will pay for a spot and then they get there, it's no spot. So they either get a refund or get to an arguing match with another driver or altercation just to get the spot. That should not be happening. It's called common courtesy. Just having common courtesy. If you did not pay for the spot, don't park there. Find somewhere else to park, or do like I do. And this is why I don't pay for spots. Maybe this will work for you, but it definitely works for me. If I get to a truck stop and it's packed out, there's no spots at all, what I like to do is I circle around until I find a spot. Maybe your company has the truck outfitted with a sensoring system that detects 3 miles per hour or more, and you're not able to do that, which, I mean, you still could do 2 miles an hour. I know it sucks, but there's ways around just parking in a reserved spot. And here's the way. Take your time and just shark. I call it sharking the lot. Hawking the lot. Big birds with talons, just hawk the lot until you find a spot that you can slide into. Works for me every time. Because every trucker is not on the same exact schedule. Every trucker is not going to sleep all throughout the night. It's impossible. Loads are due at all kinds of different times. People have to be in different places at different times, cross many states and many miles to get somewhere. Timelines don't match up perfectly. So you're going to find a trucker that's leaving at 3 a.m., 2 a.m. Some guys like to stop and take naps. You might catch a guy that was just stopping to take a nap real quick for an hour. Just shark the lot, hawk the lot until you find a spot. If not, go to an exit ramp or on ramp, which I know it sucks. I've done it one time as a company driver for Variant because I ran out of time, and they don't give out PC when you run out of time. When you run out, you run out. Even though I was empty and I was unloaded and I wasn't dispatched, they would not give me PC. So I had to park on the side of the road until my fleet manager was like, screw that, come on in, because you're not dispatched. How can you get in trouble for moving? So they went ahead. The manager took the hit on that because even the manager thought it was ridiculous. And I'm sitting on the side of the road, not dispatched on the load, completely empty. And it made sense later on because the way Variant explained it was the load is not completed till I made it back to the destination. I picked the load up front, which, whatever. That's not usual, but okay. But the manager took the hit on that, and I thought that was ludicrous that I even had to sit on the side of the road. She just gave me PC. I'm empty. I'm not dispatched. Neither here nor there. I've done it before. I've done it once before. I'm not saying that you should do this every time because, for one, it's not safe. You know, you're not in a well-lit area. You're not, in a parking spot. You are on the side of the road. You have the potential to be hit or robbed. Just gonna keep it 100. But if you trust it enough, go ahead and do it. I've done it before. Drivers do it all the time. If you feel safe enough doing it, go ahead, by all means. But my suggestion would be to take your time and hawk the lot till you find a spot to slide into. Because we deal with enough as truckers out here, okay? We deal with four-wheelers flipping us off, cutting us off, all kinds of weather conditions, all kinds of stuff, man. We deal with a lot. We deal with shippers and receivers and their attitudes, and guards having attitudes, and miscommunication and confusion when you're doing these deliveries. Everything you can think of, we deal with. Even when we're empty and the wind is strong, it's a rough ride. We deal with enough out here as drivers, okay? We are on a constant alert for other drivers around us because we have that responsibility, since we're bigger and more powerful and can't be stopped as easily, to look around us at all times. We're always on edge. So last thing that we need to worry about is pulling up to a spot that we've paid for and is not there. To give an example what we go through, because it's not just shippers and receivers, it could be truck stops, a restaurant at a truck stop. I'm not going to put the truck stop's name into this, but you pretty much, if you're a driver, you know where Denny's are. So yeah, there you go. I was in Indiana last week in a city called Whiteland, Indiana. In Whiteland, Indiana, there was a shipper named Amcor that I had to pick up a load from that wasn't quite ready yet. So I decided to take some time to go get me something to eat, sit down and get something to eat, take a shower, and take a nap, and then shoot on over to the shipper and still have, you know, an hour of elbow room. Well, I go inside the Denny's. I'm standing in line to be waited on. A gentleman cuts around me, stands in front of me, as if he's gonna wait in front of me now. So I didn't blow up immediately. I just slightly was like, hey, excuse me, sir. I was standing here first. Do you mind if I'm waited on first? Because I have been standing here for, you know, about 5 minutes already. Do you mind if I go before you? Which at this time it had already been closer to 10 minutes, but I said 5 minutes. You know, I've been staying here 5 minutes. Do you mind if I go ahead? He said, it's cool, go ahead. Put his headphones on, listen to his music, step back. Now the host overheard this interaction. She looked right at me when I said it to him. I guess she maybe felt some kind of way, but I mean, courtesy goes a long way. I was there first. I mean, this dude wasn't nowhere in sight. He walked in from an outside side door and walked around me and stood in front of me. So I'm gonna say something as a man. I'm a man first. I'm gonna say something, and I'm gonna be polite about it. Which he gave a polite response. She overhears it. A couple of seconds later, she's like, "Come with me, sir." I'm thinking she's talking to me. No, she's talking to the guy that cut me. Now I'm watching this go down. It's like slow motion, because I'm getting hot as it happened. I'm getting mad. I'm starting to see a little bit of red as it's happening. He says, "Okay," and follows her to a table. She seats him. He opens up the menu, and then looks back at me. So when he looked back at me, I said, "Now you knew that I asked you politely to let me go ahead of you because I was here first, and you agreed to it. As a man, that's jacked up." Now I looked at her and was like, "Now you heard the interaction. You could at least waited on me first." And then she came with the, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't hear you. I didn't see you." You didn't see this 6'2", 220-pound man with the bushy top standing here waiting to eat food. Okay. Anyway, I let it go. I still was like, look, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go ahead and wait again. So she then gets to me, apologizes, seats me at a table, gives me silverware and a menu. I'm starting to look through the menu. And as I'm looking through the menu, mind you, I'm on the phone with a couple of my friends, a couple of my trucking buddies. And I tell them what happened, and there's a couple older ladies sitting right next to me. And one of the ladies looked over and was like, "Honey, you are not wrong for saying that." I told her thank you and all that, and went back to look through the menu and talk to my friends on the phone. So, as I'm talking to them about what just happened, another gentleman walks in. She seats him. Then she goes over to the gentleman she already sat down. He orders his drink, and then he says he's ready to order his food. He orders his food. The gentleman behind her, she goes back to him. Now, he didn't call her over. She goes back to him and says, "What would you like to drink?" He orders his drink, and he's like, "When you're ready to order, let me know." He go ahead and order. I'm still sitting over there with a menu and some silverware. So I immediately was like, you know what? I'm not spending my money here. I'm out. I'm cool on it. I'm sensing certain vibes. The same vibes I was getting back when the police pointed their guns at me in Florida. I was starting to get those vibes. I'm like, this is turning into something I don't like. I'm going to go ahead and leave and not get none of my money. But my pride, I know I got to work on this, came in and was like, "Dude, you need to talk to the manager." So I walked back in. I said, "Let me talk to your manager." The manager comes out all red in the face, looking flustered, like she's already annoyed that I even asked for her attention. I tell her what happened. Now, I'm telling her what happened. Same tone I'm using right now, tone I was using with her. I wasn't belittling her, talking down to her, or anything. I stated my claim and said, you know, as a person that came from food service, this is unacceptable. I mean, that's very rude. Like, you could at least seen if I wanted some water or something before you got their food order. Because now their food is ordered. They're going to be served and start eating before me. I was here first. And I would do the same thing if I was in that man's position. I wouldn't even cut in line, first of all, because I'm not that type of dude. I'm not going to do that type of thing, because it seemed like he was trying to bully me with it at first. But I let it go, and I politely asked him. He politely responded as if it was all good, but then he does the opposite. So a lot of the blame goes on him as a man, as a fellow trucker. You knew better than that. I don't know if he thought I was sweet or something, or was going to go a certain kind of way, but I called him out on it yet again when I was talking to that manager. I pointed right at him and said, that gentleman there heard what I asked him. He still sat down. So I said, look, I'm going to leave up out of here, and I'm going to go across the highway to Love's. To one of the, it's two Loves that were across the highway. I'm going to go to a Love's and just, you know, be served over there, whatever fast food they had. So as I'm leaving, I didn't turn to leave because I'm upset. And maybe I should have said thank you before I walked off or something. I don't know. But as I'm turning to leave, she says, well, you didn't let me get a word in edgewise. I said, well, that's called customer service. The customer brings you a complaint, you listen to it, you try to rectify the issue, or you let the customer go about their day. You thank them for their business anyway and let them go about their day. I know, because I used to be an assistant manager for Mickey D's. I got a lot of crap thrown at me from customers. But I had to sit there and listen, try to rectify the issue, thank them, and then have a nice day. Don't take it personally as a manager, what I'm complaining about. Because you weren't here when it happened. I'm just telling you what happened as a customer. And I'm not over dramatizing it. It is what it is. You served them before me and I was here first. It makes it look a kind of way. I'm not thinking that kind of way in that moment, but it makes it look a kind of way. So I respond to her and tell her, well, you know, what I just said. And she's like, I don't like your attitude. The face I just made is exactly what I did in front of her. I said, okay, I don't like your attitude. And that's when I lost it a little bit. I told her, you need to check your attitude because you're in food service. I have an issue. You didn't try to fix the problem. You're making it worse by telling me I'm not listening to you and that you don't like my attitude. That is amping the situation. Now I'm going to turn it into something else, and I'm going to be real about it. If I was a middle-aged white guy, you wouldn't have said that to me. And let's just be real about it. And I have white family, so anybody watching this that feels some kind of way about this, I have white family. Myself, I am mixed myself. Okay? My mom is Caucasian. Half my family is Caucasian. I love them just as much as the black side of my family. I didn't see the color issue until that moment, because I'm like, okay, this is odd. Why would you treat me like this? It's because of my hair? Is it because the way I look? Has to be, because it's not because the way I'm delivering this to you. I'm not cursing you out. I'm not picking on you. I just told you the issue, and you're telling me I'm not listening to you and I'm being rude. How am I being rude when you guys were rude to me from the get-jump? Then she's like, oh, whatever, I'm about to call the police. I said, exactly. You just proved it right there. You're going to call the police because I'm making a customer complaint? So that's when I did, excuse my language, say F you. I said F you, call them. And then one of the guys that works at the truck stops that handles the towels and sweeps the floors, mops and all that, he walks up on me in my space like he's gonna do something or something. So I step to him and he's like, yeah, call him because we ain't gonna deal with this here. Look at me up and down. I said, deal with what? A customer complaint? Y'all are not helping this situation at all. You're amping the situation up. Now you're calling the police and you're gonna lie to them and say I'm being belligerent and crazy when all I had was a customer complaint. And that's what I told. I said, see, I should have just left in the first place. I was just gonna walk out, but I figured I'd bring it to your attention that this happened to one of your truck drivers or your patrons that you serve, mostly truck drivers in this place. He backs off or whatever, leans against the counter. I said, you know what? You wanted them too. You wanted them too. I could tell because you didn't even take the time to see what was going on. You immediately was like, call the police. So I said, I'm gonna stand right here. I stood there, I don't know, maybe a few minutes. And while I'm standing there, she's on the phone. She's like, yeah, he's a tall black male, and he's being belligerent and loud and very rude, and he's interrupting customers while they're eating and making up stuff now. Like, I'm standing in the foyer of Denny's talking to you face to face. I'm not yelling. I'm giving you a customer complaint. And yeah, I did say F you, because you took it to a whole nother level. As a customer, that is very rude for you to tell me that I'm not listening and I'm being rude. When I have not cursed you out, I haven't used foul language, I haven't put my fingers in your face or gotten your space, I haven't said anything violent. I'm just telling you, hey man, it's an issue. You're not trying to fix it. So after I heard her say all that, my senses kind of kicked in. I read the room and the way people were looking at me and stuff. I said, I'm gonna go ahead and leave. I'm not about to end up on the news shot dead just because I was arguing about some damn pancakes and an omelet. It's not worth it. So as I'm walking to my truck, the same gentleman that walked up and said, yeah, we're not dealing with this caller, he approaches me. I am so sorry, sir. I didn't mean it like that. I didn't want it to come off like that or make it seem a certain kind of way. I said, well, you sure did, because the first thing you said when you walked up was, go ahead and call him. We're not going to deal with this. Look at me up and down. Like I told y'all in the beginning, I'm a man first. I don't come from the typical background that a lot of these truckers come from. So when I'm approached or treated a certain kind of way, I act a certain kind of way. And yeah, I'm working on it. I should get better at it, and I should do more things to be more proactive, to be less aggressive. But my aggressive side does not come out until you treat me wrong. I told him, whatever, man. I'm not taking no apology, and I'm not accepting it. You did what you did. He's like, oh, that's fine, man. I'm so sorry anyway. I just walked off on the middle of him talking some more. I go over to the Loves across the highway. As soon as I walked to the door, like, I didn't walk in with a screwed up face or nothing. I walked in, went to the McDonald's counter, ordered my food, and when I'm standing there, it's just everybody in that room. Their eyes were fixated on me and another person in that room. Again, my vibe, the spidey senses kicked in, the vibes were felt. I said, hey, you know, because they were taking a little minute on my food. I said, I'd like to get my food and just go ahead and go back to my truck, because they were taking a long time. And the guy serving me had an attitude with all the other customers before me. So I was like, look, I just want my food so I can go. I'm trying to avoid any aggravation. He even set my frappe on the HLZ, and anybody that's worked at McDonald's know what the HLZ is, the heated landing zone. It's hot. He set my frappe there. I didn't get mad then either. I was like, hey, can I just get my frappe so I can go? And as soon as one of the young ladies there that wasn't a part of this crowd seen what I said about my frappe, I was like, dang, my frappe gonna melt. She went and got it. I said, thank you so much, and I dipped. I didn't leave my truck until I was at the shipper around the corner later on that night. I'm not going back to Whiteland, Indiana. That's an example of what some of us truckers deal with out here. I just wanted an omelet and some pancakes. It turned into calling police over my complaint that I wasn't being served correctly. That's just an idea how America treats us truckers. Heck, even recently when I came back home, one of my neighbors complained about my truck being parked on a dead-end street that nobody goes down, away from everybody's house. Said I'm parking on the back streets. I'm not bothering nobody. I live in this community. I'm a tax-paying participant in this community. I don't bother nobody. I don't play loud music. I don't smoke weed and throw parties. I don't bother nobody. But yeah, you don't want my truck. I mean, we deal with enough as drivers. So if you could, please, driver, don't park in a spot you ain't paid for, because you might get me. You might get the driver that's had so many things going on, and I won't hesitate to take it as far as I need to take it with you as a man about my parking spot. So please don't do that, because I've heard my friend had to kick several people out of his spot. Well, not his designated spot. If you're a driver, you know what I mean. If you pay for a parking spot, the reserved spots at truck stops, those are for people who paid. It can be anywhere from $15 to $25 for a parking spot nowadays. That's $15 to $25 he could have kept in his pocket to eat food or whatever. Whether it's refunded or not, it's still a aggravation we don't need. So until next time, I am the Trucking Block, aka Block Life Vlogs. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up notification bell. Comment down below. Interact with me, I interact back. If you don't like my video, hit the dislike. YouTube analytics, right? P.S. I need 1,000 subs by April 18th. That is my birthday. 1,000 subs by April 18th. Don't cost you a thing. It doesn't. It don't cost you any money. The only thing it's gonna cost you is to see me on your timeline more often. Y'all look at everything else on YouTube. Why not me? Peace.